They said the valley was cursed that winter, buried under endless storms. Locals swore they heard whispers on the wind, promises and warnings woven into the snowdrifts. And if you stood still enough, long enough, you might just hear a name. Not yours, someone else's. Someone who still had a story left to tell. The storms had swallowed most of Hollow Creek by mid-December. Roofs sagged under heavy snow. Windows wore halos of frost. And in a small, faded farmhouse at the edge of the forest, a boy named Liam Hayes watched the blizzard smear the world into a blur. Liam was 13, though he felt much older lately. His sister Emma said grief had a way of stretching people until they weren't themselves anymore. Since their mother passed away last spring, Liam had grown quieter, heavier somehow, like all his laughter had sunk to the bottom of him and couldn't find a way back. He missed her voice most. It used to fill the house, humming, storytelling, laughing at bad jokes. Now the only sounds were the crackle of firewood and Emma moving carefully around their father, who hadn't left his bed in weeks. Loss had broken something inside him too, something nobody knew how to fix. The snow came harder that night, and Emma double-checked every window, muttering about losing power again. Liam sat near the front door, his forehead pressed to the cold glass. He didn't know what he was hoping for. Maybe a miracle, maybe nothing. When the knock came, it wasn't a knock exactly, more like a faint, muffled thump, then another. Liam startled, heart jumping against his ribs. Emma hurried over, pulling on her boots. "Stay back," she warned, grabbing the old iron poker from the fireplace. But when she cracked open the door, the only thing waiting outside was a dog. Not a puppy, not a stray. A full-grown golden retriever, fur heavy with snow, eyes deep and steady. He didn't bark or whine. He simply stood there, looking straight at Liam. Something about him, something in the solemn curve of his ears or the way he didn't shiver despite the cold, made Liam's breath catch. Without thinking, he pushed past Emma and knelt down. The dog's nose bumped his glove. "Hey, buddy," Liam whispered. The dog pressed closer, like he understood every unsaid thing. Emma frowned, skeptical, but the dog was harmless. More than harmless. When she reached out, he gave a polite wag of his tail, as if introducing himself. They let him in, dried him off, gave him some leftover stew. He ate, but sparingly, always glancing back at Liam like he had bigger concerns. That night, Liam dreamed of his mother. She was singing, somewhere just out of reach. The dog, he'd already decided to name him Copper, lay curled by his bed, one ear twitching in sleep. Days passed. Storms battered the valley, roads stayed closed. But inside their little house, something began to shift. Their father, noticing the new presence, started coming to the kitchen for coffee. Emma laughed once, real and surprised when Copper helped her hang laundry by stealing clothespins. Liam spent hours with Copper. They sat by the fire together, Copper's head resting against Liam's knee. Liam talked more than he had in months, about school, about missing his mom, about how angry he was at everything. Copper never interrupted, never judged. He just listened, blinking, slow, golden eyes. One night, as another blizzard shrieked around the house, Liam opened the attic door for the first time since their mom died. Dust floated in thick beams of lantern light. Boxes were stacked everywhere, but one caught his eye, a worn trunk with brass hinges. Inside, he found her journals, sketchbooks, letters she'd written but never sent, and tucked between the pages, a photograph. His mother, younger, standing in the sun with a golden retriever at her side. Copper. It couldn't be, but it was. The same solemn gaze. The same scar over the right eye. Written on the back. Copper. My first and forever friend. Liam stumbled downstairs, heart pounding. "Emma!" She squinted at the photo, then at Copper dozing by the fire. "Maybe it's a coincidence," she offered weakly. "Maybe," Liam whispered, but deep down he didn't think so. Somehow, some way, Copper had come back. Not just for anyone, for them. After that, Liam felt the world in sharper focus. He began to draw again, the way he used to with his mother. Scenes of Hollow Creek before the snow. Pictures of Copper standing proud in the summer fields. Spring fought its way into the valley, slow but certain. Roads reopened. Neighbors emerged from hibernation. Liam and Emma even convinced their father to sit on the porch one afternoon, soaking up weak sunlight. It wasn't perfect. Grief didn't vanish, but it wasn't strangling them anymore. Then came the day Liam fell. It was a Sunday. Copper had tugged Liam outside to walk the ridge above the house. Liam's boots slipped on a patch of melting ice and he tumbled, rolling down a steep slope into a thicket of brambles. Pain flashed through his ankle, sharp and blinding. He couldn't move. "Copper!" he shouted hoarsely. Copper was there in seconds, nosing under his arm, whining low in his throat. Liam gritted his teeth against the pain. "Get help!" he gasped. Copper hesitated, then turned and sprinted back up the hill, faster than Liam thought possible. He heard the dogs barking, echoing against the trees, urgent and raw. Minutes, or hours, he wasn't sure. Later, Emma and two neighbors appeared, slipping and sliding down the slope. They carried Liam carefully home, wrapped in every blanket they could find. At the clinic, the doctor said it was a bad sprain, but it could have been much worse. Without Copper, Liam might have been stuck there all night in the freezing cold. Recovering was slow. Liam hated being stuck inside, but Copper stayed glued to him, fetching socks, bringing him books, nudging him to drink water. One afternoon, bored and sore, Liam wheeled himself to the porch. Copper followed. They watched the valley below. New grass poked through old snow. Birds dared to sing again. "You found me," Liam murmured. "Twice, really." Copper licked his hand solemnly. In the weeks that followed, Liam wrote about Copper, about hope sneaking in when you least expect it, about the kind of love that refuses to die. He didn't show Emma right away, or his father. He wasn't sure anyone would understand, but Copper understood. When school restarted, Liam was nervous. He limped through the hallways, feeling awkward and exposed. He kept his head down until he felt a gentle nudge at his side. Emma had arranged special permission. Copper wore an official vest now, emotional support animal. He walked by Liam's side, steady as gravity, and people noticed. They smiled more. They asked questions about Copper. Slowly, cautiously, Liam found himself answering. He wasn't invisible anymore. He was a boy with a story people wanted to hear. The invitation came by email. The regional library was hosting a Young Voices reading night. They wanted students to share poems, essays, short stories. Emma pushed him to submit something. Copper sat on his foot until he agreed. The night of the reading, the library smelled like old paper and nervous sweat. Liam waited backstage, his heart rattling in his ribs. Then they called his name. He limped out, Copper pacing calmly beside him. The audience hushed. Liam cleared his throat. "This is called Where the Wind Finds Us," he began. His voice shook at first, then steadied. He told them about a boy who almost forgot how to hope, about a golden retriever who crossed storms in time to find him, about how sometimes the ones we lose aren't really gone. They just find new ways to stay. When he finished, there was a long, thick silence. Then applause. Real, thunderous, impossible applause. Copper barked once, tail wagging. Liam laughed, wiping his eyes. Afterward, people lined up to shake his hand, to pet Copper, to tell him they needed his story more than he knew. At home that night, sitting on the porch under a sky choked with stars, Liam leaned against Copper. "We're going to be okay," he whispered. "Aren't we?" Copper didn't answer, not in words. He didn't need to. The wind picked up again, swirling through the valley, carrying old sorrow and new hope together. And somewhere, somehow, a voice sang back. Not an ending, a beginning.